Hey guys, and welcome back to another video. Today we're taking a look at my Clean and Minimalist Desk setup, my working from home setup for all my photography, videography, and YouTube work. And I thought this was going to be a good video to make because the way my sort of room is sort of set up, this is a fixed desk. There's like only 2 meters to the other side of me. And I figured it's a good video to show you what you can do with minimal space and sort of minimal flexibility and how you can make the best out of a bad situation. So this is how I've set up my office for 2020. Powering this entire setup is the 16-inch MacBook Pro. This is like the first generation when it came out towards like the end of last year. It is the base model. There is nothing special about it. And the reason I got this one, apart from the cost, because obviously it was the cheapest one, is I figured if I needed more graphics power, I could just get an eGPU down the line, add that to the setup, and we're sort of good to go. And I don't really mind using hard drives for space because I sort of just run off those little T5s regardless. That's just what I use. So the 16-inch MacBook Pro is what powers this setup. Now, that is a great laptop and I like it because it means I can work on the go to a coffee shop when they're open and actually do some work. But when I'm at home, I prefer having a larger monitor to work off of because at least I get more productivity. I can have emails open and Lightroom and all that sort of stuff open at the same time. So the monitor that I'm using is the LG 34UM69GB. Love their naming schemes for these monitors. Now, the reason I got this one is more for cost. It wasn't super expensive. I think this monitor itself came to like 450 Canadian, and it is a 34-inch ultra-wide monitor, 2560 by 1080. So it's not the sharpest monitor in the game, and you can definitely notice that, especially in UI elements, text, and that is just not great. But the color accuracy of the panel is awesome. It's 99% sRGB, which is more important to me than resolution. And obviously I prefer a higher resolution monitor, but this is doing really well so far. Now, as for the peripherals that I have connected to this monitor, I am pretty much a self-confessed Apple fanboy, so I am using the Apple Magic Keyboard with numpad. And the reason I use this one is because I just like having the numpad on the side. That's just how I've always operated with keyboards, so it works well for me. And I use the Magic Mouse. I know a lot of people hate on the Magic Mouse, but I actually find it works really well. I also have a metal plate in my wrist, so being able to hold the mouse a particular way and sort of work actually is beneficial for me. Normal mouses, even like the MX Masters, like the ergonomic design, just puts too much strain on my wrist, especially with that metal plate in there. So the Magic Mouse 2 works really well for me, and I think complements the setup nicely. Now, I got the white ones just because of the way the room is sort of set up. It is a darkish kind of room and I didn't want to get more dark peripherals, so I got the white ones to brighten it up a little bit. Now, in front of that, you can see there is a more unique tool that not everyone has, and it is a graphics tablet. And the reason I have this is because I have a background in visual effects and 3D animation design, and I always used graphics tablets back then, and I found them really useful. So I use it when I'm using Lightroom, Photoshop, and when I'm doing visual effects work inside of DaVinci Resolve. This particular tablet is from Huion, and the reason I got this one is because I think Huion provide awesome bang for your buck. Obviously Wacom or Wacom, however you want to call it, is sort of like the leader in the game. They make the most professional tools, I guess, that you will see most people using, but they're also super expensive. For me to get an equivalent tablet would have costed at least an extra $300, whereas this one here was just over 100, and it works really, really well. And it just means I can be a little bit more precise when editing in Lightroom or Photoshop. And it's obviously, using a Magic Mouse, that's just not the best way to edit those sorts of things. So that's why I have the graphics tablet. I just find it works way better for all that sort of creative work. Now, one thing you are gonna not see in this setup is a pair of speakers. I was gonna get speakers, but I'm also like, the way I had to do cable management and that is just not gonna fit very well, and I want that symmetrical aesthetic as best I can anyway. So it's like, what, I don't need speakers, to be honest. The speakers in the monitor are good enough. If I'm editing, I'm just gonna chuck AirPods in just to isolate that noise a little bit. Yeah, no speakers, that's just how I sort of operate. And a few bits and bobs around that you may notice is I've just got this standard IKEA desk mat here. It's like that metal one with like that fake leather. I just think it makes this desk look a little bit nicer, a little bit more modern. The reason I got it is just because, like I said, this is a fixed desk. I can't change it or alter it. And the texture and the material that they've used, it's not very nice. I don't like it. So this sort of helps that along a little bit. In the corner behind me, this little white tub here, is my cable management box. Again, back to the idea that, you know, this is a fixed desk. I can't install cable management. I can't drill a hole in it. It is glued right to the back here. So I can't run cables behind there. So that white box just from IKEA is like 20 bucks, super cheap. All my cables go in there, my power board's in there, and you know, it does a pretty good job of hiding the majority of the cables. Obviously there are still gonna be a few things lying around, but I think it does a pretty good job overall. Now I do have my MacBook hidden behind the monitor. I like the fact that it's sort of out of the way. It does pick up very easily and I can just sort of bring it out and use it. It is standing on the Mosimo laptop stand. It's like the #1 rated one on Amazon. I think it's really good. Fits in really well with the aesthetic. It's black, it's metal, build quality is great, and it just keeps it out of the way, looking nice and clean. And really, we've only got 2 more things left in this setup. One is a really new addition, and that is this microphone. Again, it is just sort of a cheap one. The highest rated one I could get on Amazon, I think is Niwa or Newa. I don't know how you pronounce that brand. Anyway, picked that up for like 90 bucks, I think, something like that. And I think it's gonna be really good for my tutorials. I hate using these sort of like external lav mics for the tutorials. It's just easy to record directly into my screen recording software. So that's why I picked that up. Hopefully that's gonna make it better for you guys. And the last bit of tech in this setup is this Thunderbolt 3 dock. Now the downside to this monitor, although it's really good, it doesn't have USB ports in the back, whereas the more expensive LG ones do, and we're talking like the $1,000 monitors. So to get around that, I've had to get a Thunderbolt 3 dock from OWC. Normally I wouldn't recommend it because these are really, really expensive, but I was able to get a bargain on this one on eBay, picked up for $80. And what this allows me to have is, you know, headphone jack, SD card slot, Ethernet port, couple of USB 3.0 ports, a couple of Thunderbolt ports, all in this one little dock, which just sits nice there at the front there, and really just rounds this whole setup out, means I don't have to use too many dongles. And yeah, other than that, guys, that is it for my clean and minimalist desk setup. If you want to check out any of the things I mentioned in this video, there will be links in the description to as much as that I can. And if you have any questions about some of the things I've been using specifically, you can ask me down in the comment section below and I'll try my best to get back to you. But yeah, until the next video, guys, see ya.